Oh. Here we are. I'm just gonna give a moment for Andrea to join. Oh, there she is. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Great, we made it work. Again.
We made it work. 2 for
Yay.
2.
Hey, morning everybody. Thank you for joining us. All right, so we are going to talk today about our reveal for the July club, which was the sock pattern, and our design process. And then we'll talk about the August club, which is open now. So links for that are in our bios. And yeah, welcome.
I guess we'll give it maybe a minute for people to show up.
Sounds good.
Oh, we were okay. I will maybe give a quick life update.
Yes, we'd love
which is that I am sick. I'm home with COVID right now, doing fine. But if I'm like unusually snorfly, or if I just suddenly leave and you hear weird noises off camera, that's just me blowing my nose or being gross in the other room. So sorry about that. Yeah. But I found a different wall this time, Andrea. I am in the basement of my new house because we just moved a couple weeks ago. I for sure recommend moving before getting COVID if you have to do both. But ideally just do both. That would be my suggestion. So
yeah, you found a brighter wall. That is very lovely.
I did, yeah. My view is of literal dirty laundry right now, but your view is a white wall, so we're good.
Yes, social media. We're showing you the other side of things.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, should we hop in?
Yeah, let's hop in. So our July design was inspired by the Giant Pacific Octopus, which is this really incredible creature that lives sort of in the waters off Vancouver Island, where we both live. And I had the privilege of photographing one at the Shaw Center for the Salish Sea, which is this tiny little aquarium that we have here in Vancouver, or in Victoria. And she has moved on now. They only keep the octopi there for a few months before they...
And moved on is not a euphemism. Like,
oh, no, yeah. She's back in the ocean. As far as I know, she's thriving and living her best life. I wouldn't know if she's fine, but she was released into the ocean from the aquarium. She is not dead as far as I know. So I think they have a new octopus there now, but the octopus that I photographed is hopefully enjoying her life in the ocean. But I was very inspired by her texture, the colors, the fact that she is able to sort of change her shape and blend into her surroundings. And so when Catherine and I were talking about how to translate that into knitting, we originally were thinking color work or texture, and we were really thinking about her environment as well as herself. So it was kind of about the interplay, because she has this incredible ability to camouflage. We were thinking about the interplay between her and the ocean, the kelp forest, the kind of area around her. So I think I'll go ahead and just show the actual socks, and then we can talk more about the yarn and the design process. Yeah?
Yeah.
So here is what we actually ended up with. And it ended up being a little less literal than what we originally started off with. But we've got this lace pattern on there that uses double yarn overs, which I really enjoy, and twisted stitches. And the vibe that I was going for is like the suckers along the arms of the octopus, rather than like actual octopus arms, which I'll talk about. My design process was my original idea. But I loved this, using those suckers, because you didn't have to have a particular number, so it works in every size. We don't have to have exactly 8 of them or anything like that. And a couple other features that I loved about this sock are the fact I used reverse stockinette, so the purl side. I really liked in this variegated yarn. I'll show you the knit side. So if you're into the knit side, you can totally just knit or wear your sock inside out. The knit side is very pretty as well, but I really liked, and even the lace is kind of cool on the knit side. It's a little more subtle, but it's kind of cool. But I really liked the purl side. So once I had seen that, once I knit up my first sock and had seen what the purl side looked like, I was really into that. So this sock is a feature that you do your toe and your grafting in purl. So you get to learn something new on that. And I really liked on the heel where we have this sort of braid look that's normally on the inside of a sock. And in this case, it's on the outside, I think is very cool. And that's because of the short row heel construction. So this is a top-down sock. And just in case anybody's not familiar with the club, it's sort of a surprise secret thing. And then the patterns and the yarn are exclusive for a year. So if you have not already gotten this, you can't get it till next summer. But for those of you who have gotten it, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So do you want to say anything about the yarn and your color process, or?
I think just what you've already kind of mentioned. I have little samples here as well. So the idea was trying to capture kind of octopus colors. They also can have a lot of purples in them, which I played around with as well, and I can show some of those samples later. And then kelp, which is really beautiful, and especially the big bull kelp. If you're not familiar with it, there are some of these like kind of goldy yellows and some greens, but if you take a step back, bull kelp is actually like ugly. So just trying to blend in the colors a little bit to make it bull kelp, but like cute. So trying to get some octopus hiding in the kelp, and then there's just some like ocean there. And I will also, because I have two and I can hold them up side by side. I love that Andrea did the pearl side, because I feel like it looks so much, it like blends in so much better, and it looks so much more watery. So if you can see, these are pretty much identical, except that I do feel this side it's just a little more watery.
Yeah, I love it. It feels like
for camouflage. This would be the side.
Yeah, camouflage and watercolor type vibe.
Yeah. But it did take many tries to get to here, and I think Andrea also has some examples of like the stitch patterns and stuff you tried.
Yeah, I do.
Start with those.
Yeah. So our first try yarn was a little like this. So we had the octopus color, and then we had a lot of water colors. And my first sample is this one. And I was going for color work, just like a bunch of cool octopus arms around the leg. And I really actually loved the colors here. Although I think we both agreed right away that this red stripe and this peachy stripe were just kind of confusing. And then I put the sock on to my foot, and my partner noticed that it actually just looked like I had a horrifying injury. Like, yeah, if you were thinking octopus tentacles, I feel like they're actually pretty cool. But if you didn't think octopus tentacles first, you might think that I had lost a limb or something. So I was not going for that. So I decided that we needed to try something really different. And we talked about yarn as well, and I got a new yarn that was obviously extremely different. And so my next try was just using texture, but with that same chart. So we've got the same tentacle chart, but only using knits and purls. And I did want to try with the purl side out as the main fabric, but yeah, it's almost impossible to see what's
Yes.
happening.
If the goal was camouflage, nailed it.
Nailed it. Too far. Nailed it too much. So, and then I looked at it on the, turned inside out, and I thought, just to see maybe that would be better, and it was not at all better. So this is an example of when we've tried an idea and then we've just like gone completely in a different direction. So after I knit this second sample, I just sort of started from the drawing board. I just kind of threw all of my previous ideas out the window and started looking through stitch dictionaries and trying to think like, okay, how else could I interpret this idea? And so I found this really cool lace pattern, and I feel like that was much more successful in the end, because the lace, what I think worked about it is that the lace is like got these larger holes than normal, and it's a pretty distinct, those twisted stitch patterns I think really worked quite well. And so even though it's maybe not as bold and distinctive as I would normally go for, I think we found the balance of like, we want camouflage look, but also to have some texture. So yeah. So that is what I ended up with.
Nice. Yeah, I think it was a fun, like you had a few original ideas and we ended up just walking away from those completely. And sometimes that is absolutely the way to just like, despite it being a great idea and like almost working a few times. And same with the colors. I'll show you, this was almost exactly what you had in that sock.
Yeah.
And the idea was this was for the color work. I stand by this little peachy one, but that other orange one was too much.
Yeah.
So part of the reason we went away from these stripes was because they just kind of weren't working, but also because we were working on this and the June hat at the same time. And these are also the exact colors in the June hat. And we were sort of playing back and forth with which project got which colors. Right. And that was why for a while there was a version of the June hat with these.
Yeah.
Because we're like, well, if we're going to do these colors for the socks, then we need something else for the hat. And I will show you this one. I kept the orange, but then I don't know if you can really see, there's some purple in this one. Anyway, I really like this one too. But that was either going to be the June hat or it was too similar to the June hat. So I had to try again. And this is basically the June colorway, but with a bit of purple in there. A bunch that I really liked, but that just you have to choose one,
right?
And only get to do one. So we did have a few almost things that almost worked, but in the end just weren't quite right.
Right. Yeah.
And where did I put it? I also want to show you. So I knit a pair of socks, the pair that are in the photographs. I knit that one, but I picked the wrong size for the first maybe half a sock. So that pair was like a pair of socks plus half a sock. And then I cast on a pair for my daughter and also picked the wrong size, but got like past the heel before I got her to try it on. Anyway, so I've knit like 3 socks in that exact pattern. So when I went back to cast on again, I was like, I'm just gonna change it up a little bit because I don't need, like, there's only so many times I need to knit this exact same sock pattern in a row with no other project between. Anyway, so now I'm working on just like a heel flap construction.
Cute.
Just 3 of those and a little section of the reverse stockinette.
Oh, that's
and then
cool.
The rest of it is just stockinette, just because I felt like it. So I will hopefully continue making progress on this and maybe show some pictures. Yeah. So I just want to show you that.
Cool. I love
We're
it.
getting some weird comments here, which I think I'm just going to ignore. I don't think we need to do anything about this.
Block that person. So I think hopefully we're not going to get those anymore. But sorry about that, everybody. Hopefully those are all done. But I did want to kind of show, so we have two of our projects are done so far for this year. So we have our hat, which was inspired by moon jellies, in case you missed it last time. And here's my top of my head, which has the little moon jelly structures, very cute. And then we have our socks. So these are 2 out of the 3 projects that we will be doing this summer. We have one more, so this was June, July, and we have the August project, which will be a surprise. So I am not going to show that to you yet, even though it's in here. But it will be a cowl, and that one is sort of more inspired by the ocean and the waves, the surf, the sea, more in general, rather than these 2 were animal-inspired ocean animals. This one is actually inspired by the whole ocean and the surf and all of that. So it has some texture. It has some short rows. I'll give you a little hint, which is that if you liked Goldstream, the shawl that we did, our very first pattern ever, I think you will really like this cowl. But there's a lot of other things going on. So hopefully I don't like to pick favorites, but I think it might be my favorite project of this summer. I feel like I'm going to wear it a lot. I really, really love how it came out. So if you have already joined for all 3, like if you signed up in May or whenever the original sign up was for all 3 clubs, you don't have to do anything. Your August club is going to ship in a few weeks. But if you did not sign up for all 3, like if you haven't signed up at all before, or if you only signed up one at a time, we have, Goldstream has been on my knit to knit list forever, from Belle of the Woods. Cool. And when he says the torment of waiting, I know. It's torment and fun. We love surprises. So yeah, if you have been signing up one at a time, or if you haven't signed up for anything, now is your time to sign up for the August club. And signups will close on August 18th, which is not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. So you have a week and a half to sign up, and then we will close signups so that Catherine has time to actually dye your yarn before we ship it out. So there's a little hint for the next one.
And there is a little hint for colors. If you go to the product page in the place you sign up is on the gagedyeworks.com website, which is a link in my profile. And there's a picture there. The colors this time are much more, there's still a lot of blue and some grays, and it is like a stormy, kind of rocky seashore. And there's actually, Andrea took a photo that we will be sharing, I'm sure, in the next few days. That is, was one of those, like, it was sort of the inspiration, but also in hindsight, we're like, oh yeah, that's what we did without intentionally doing it. So it's a different, these are much more like, the colors are much more cheerful and colorful, the first 2, and this is a little more subtle.
I love stormy is an excellent word for it. So you can get that now through Catherine's website and a Gage website, and also the link is in the newsletter that you got from me this morning, and it's in my bio here on Instagram. So a few different places that you can sign up. I guess we'll give just a couple minutes in case anybody has questions, either about the sock pattern, or you can ask questions about the hat if you're interested, or about the new club, in case anybody has any questions or thoughts before we sign off. I guess this is like, you just sit there and wait then to see if anybody has time to type.
I was thinking I should have saved my little sock show and tell for now. So we have something to do to fill the time while we wait to see if anyone wants to.
Oh, I did want to mention that people have been chatting about the projects on Ravelry and on Facebook. So there is, in the Gauge Dye Works Ravelry group, there is conversation going, and I think the thread is just like Summer Club 2023 or something like that. And then on Facebook as well. Okay, and Bella the Wood says, no questions, just loving, in all caps, this club. Thank you so much. Really glad you're enjoying it. And then Winnie also says, hat finished, working on sock. Lovely.
Excellent.
That's the idea.
My hat is not finished. I will fully admit I got to the decrease section. I was like, oh, I'm going to need to start paying attention. So I set it aside. And then between moving and getting sick and like living a full life, I have not picked it back up.
Yeah.
But I look forward to the afternoon where that's my little, because I've got like an hour's worth and then I get a whole hat out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and part of the idea of this club is that you do have like smaller projects, so they're all one skein projects, so that you can maybe work on one and it takes you a month-ish to knit on vacation. And we have a question. Yes, what's the quote new club, or just mean August? So that's just for the August. And Sam says, love this club. Thank you so much. Yeah, it is just the August club. So the new club is the third month for this year. But I'm gonna give a little hint that we actually are gonna have something additional this year in a couple of months.
Yeah, later on. Yeah, that'll be a separate thing.
No questions, but I love seeing the iterations and hearing about the process. Oh, good. I'm glad that you love that. I like showing how things are not straightforward. And a lot of times the design process is not just like, oh, we came up with this cool thing and yay, we're done. A lot of times just is like, that was a fail. And we have another comment, my July yarn arrived today and it's so pretty, thank you. Oh, Advent, question mark. I think we're done giving hints here. But good question, Easy Acres Gnomestead. So yeah, I feel like maybe that's sufficient. Are we done?
I think this is a good place to leave it. And we should do this again next month.
Yes, we will be doing this again next month, or maybe at the very beginning of September, I think, because
oh yes,
we're sending out this club a little later in July, or in August rather than doing it in the same month. So so yeah, I think we'll have early September, and you can sign up for both of our newsletters. The links for that are on our website, and there's a link through my link in bio here on Instagram too. And we will, through our newsletters, tell you when the next club is, or the next Instagram live rather, but we will also remind you about when the signups end for the August club, which is Friday, August 18th. So you have a little bit of time to decide, but not a ton. So
yeah, and if you've already signed up for all three back in May, do nothing. Your yarns. Yarn will ship the last week of August.
Yes, so and this
you have time to finish your socks first.
Yes. This video will be on YouTube with automated captions so that you can watch it again, or if you missed the beginning, you can watch it through there and have a little more control over it and be able to read the captions too. Although without the comments, because those don't save. So.
Alrighty. Well. Yay. Good talking to you. Happy knitting, everyone.
Yay. Thank you, everyone who joined. I really appreciate you being here and being part of the club.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.